Thank you for checking into Smart Home Buying. Most people actually think that their monthly payment goes towards just paying off their house. Well, it doesn't. Actually, every month that payment gets broke down into four different buckets, and only one of them actually helps to build home ownership. So if you've ever looked at that payment and wondered, where is all this money going? Or you're looking to buy a house and you want to know in advance, where is all this money going? Well, stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'm going to break down exactly where every dollar in that monthly payment goes and how understanding some things can actually save you thousands. Well, let's dive into this. We talked about there is four buckets. What are those buckets? Well, you have the principal portion of your mortgage, you have the interest rate, you have the taxes, and homeowners insurance. So, first of all, let's talk about the principal. The principal portion of a mortgage payment is the amount of money that goes towards reducing the original loan balance you borrowed from the lender. So, if you put 10% down payment, the other 90% of the funds used to buy that property were put up by your lender. That is the amount of money you are actually paying back. Now, if you make one additional mortgage payment per year, you can actually knock off 5 to 6 years of mortgage payments by doing that. When you make that one additional mortgage payment, you mark it towards principal only, and it can actually save you 5 to 6 years of mortgage payments and saving you literally thousands and thousands of dollars of interest rate. So that's your principal. What's next? Well, after that is the interest rate. The interest portion of a mortgage payment is the fee you pay the lender for the use of their money. It is calculated as a percentage of the remaining loan balance, not the original amount you borrowed. So when you borrow that money, the very first payment you make, almost the entire payment is interest, where the last payment you make is almost all principal. It's how an amortized mortgage work over the term of 15, 20, or 30 years. Now, did you realize, let's say you have a $500,000 loan. The difference from dropping it from 6.5% to 5.5% would save you $305 per month. Yes, $305 per month by dropping from 6.5 to 5.5. That's why it's so important to look around and shop on your different lenders to make sure you're getting the best rate that's out there. Currently, our preferred lender is offering rates around 5.4 to 5.5% fixed conventional loan for 30 years. That is a great rate. Remember, historically, the average interest rate has been 7.75%. So we are way below the historic average. And because of that, we are seeing people come off the fence, becoming more interested in buying properties. So, what's the third bucket? Well, the third bucket is your taxes. The tax portion of a mortgage payment refers to the money collected to pay your property taxes to the local government. If your loan uses an escrow account, the lender collects a fraction of the expected annual bill each month and then pays the tax on your behalf when it comes due. Now, also be mindful that the amount of tax levied against you can vary from city to city to county to county. So, some areas can be a higher tax area than others, and then, of course, making a difference in your monthly payment. Something else that can make a difference is down here in Florida, we have a lot of what we call resort style communities, and it is common for those communities to have what's called a CDD. That is a community development district. That's where the builder takes out a bond to help pay for the infrastructure of that community. And then it is the responsibility of the community to pay that bond back. Now, that CDD bill becomes a part of your tax bill. An average CDD per property is usually around $2,200 to $3,800 per year. So let's say your tax bill is $5,000 and then you have a $2,400 CDD. Now your tax bill goes from 5,000 to 7,400 and your monthly payment has increased by $200 a month. So now if you had an interest rate that was 6.5 to 5.5, that's $305 difference there. And then the CDD can also make easily a $200 to $300 difference in your monthly payment as well. So you can see that these different things can greatly affect how much you pay per month. So be very mindful of that. And if you don't want to live in a CDD community, just make sure you tell your realtor to remove those type of properties from your search. Now, after that, there is what? We have the homeowners insurance. The homeowner's insurance portion of a mortgage payment is the money set aside each month to pay your annual insurance premium. That protects the property against risk like fire, storm, damage, theft, and liability claims. Now, also remember, different providers charge different premiums, so make sure you shop around and get a premium that fits your budget. I remember a few years back, our provider, for absolutely no reason, seemed to increase their premiums by a great amount over a couple of years. Found a new provider, and I saved myself about $150 per month just switching providers and getting the exact same coverage. So make sure you shop around and find yourself a good homeowners insurance company that will give you a good rate. Now, also with that, remember, if you're in a flood zone, that can also increase your monthly payment. If you have a flood insurance and the flood insurance is $2,400 a month, once again, that has increased your monthly payment by another $200 per month. Now, something to be mindful of is if you are in a flood zone, try to get an elevation certificate. That's done by a surveyor. That's when they come out and they actually survey the structure itself, the house itself, to find out how high or low it is in accordance with the flood zone around it. And sometimes it can come out very favorable and help you save a lot of money on your flood insurance. Other times it can actually remove the flood insurance. We had a listing where I knew the house had been built up, and I actually hired a surveyor and brought him in and asked them to do an elevation certificate on this property, and found out that the house itself was 1 foot 1 inch above flood zone. Now that made it eligible through FEMA, what's called a LOMA, which is a letter of mapping amendment, which removes the federal regulation for flood insurance because of that. And the difference between that and the house beside it, who has to pay for flood insurance, and ours that didn't, was all because we did the elevation certificate. So those can actually help save you a lot of money if it comes out to be favorable. But all of these things, like you see, it can make a big difference in your monthly payment. You can have two houses that are identical, pay the exact same price for them, but based upon location and whether it's in a CDD or a high tax area or flood insurance needed, could make a difference of $1,000 a month easily in your monthly payment. So make sure you're mindful of all these things. And if you are looking for a property in the Tampa Bay area, give us a call, 813-495-2273, or we actually have a link right there on our channel that you can connect directly with us. As always, we are here to help. And if you would, hit that subscribe button.